for joining us today. On today's podcast, today we have with us Wijesundara. She is the best-selling author, motivational coach, professional speaker, and she is the author of the best-selling book, Re-Engineer Yourself. The only person standing in your way is you. Today we have with us, and she is going to share her amazing journey through how she became an author of a best-selling book. And we are going to talk a lot today on today's interview. And I'm super glad to have you here, Jay. Thank you, Jay, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me today.
So tell me, Jay, what is your first memory of wanting to become an author? When did it all start?
It started since I was a teenager, actually. I used to write short stories, poems, and then a little bit of a novel, like a short novels. And it started a long time ago when I was a teenager. And then the dream of becoming a journalist, that was my dream, to become a journalist one day, but it didn't stop. And then I came to Canada, and then things go different ways, and I went to university, and then all of those things happened. Then I put aside my writing in 2017, and I was writing actually a little bit about things, and then I started to write a blog. And that blog was like, I wanted to inspire mostly the women. And I started to write a little bit about the leadership, about the women, and how I became a leader, and what is my leadership style, and how can I help someone to become who they wanted to be. So that's how I started. And then I wrote a little bit about little blogs all the time, and then every day, like every other day kind of thing. So then it started me writing the book. So I didn't even know I'd finished. I was halfway done, and then I stopped, and then it's been 2 years that I was writing the book. So that's how it started. It's just one of the dreams, and I can call it a bucket list, I guess.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's like I remember you telling me that it has always been your dream to becoming an author, and today you are a best-selling author, and you are already changing lives, like through your story. Whenever like people read it and they get inspired, and that's like the best thing to do. I'm for sure about that. So tell me, Jay, when you were on your author journey, so as you have now become an author, and you are now doing great things, changing lives, and you are creating impact, and you now have your own stores, and you are doing amazing things. And tell me how your book has inspired you to do even more.
Yeah, so I guess I knew I wanted to be a writer at all since I was a teenager. I would start it with little bit things that I wanted to accomplish in my life. And I always had this journal. And whenever I had a time, I write a little bit about it. It's like a diary, and it's writing a diary like I was writing a book rather than just a usual rant. And I would turn that events of the day into a story. So when I was thinking about it, writing the book, and I was work on the little bit every day, like I said, and write a book that you'd love to read. I read all the time, and I want to make sure that I write a book that my audience gonna read, right? And I learn from my writing, and then the mistakes I made, and then I was going back and forth and how I change it kind of thing. And telling that honest personal stories that make you blush, right? So I get blush when I was writing, and then I was reading it. So that's why I don't worry about what the other people think about what I writing. So because it makes me blush. So that's how I inspire and everyone, and then for myself.
I'm sure a lot of the time you get this question, and I want to put forward this question to you as well, that there are many aspiring authors. So what would be your take? What would be your advice to them, to all that aspiring authors from a best-selling author?
Absolutely. Work on their book a little bit every day. Don't ever stop. like just like me, never stop and write a book that you'd love to read. And if you like to read a book, and that's same the concept that everybody in the audience would like, write a book that you'd love to read, right? And the other thing was, like I was saying earlier, learn from your writing mistakes. That's how you learn, right? And then you keep writing and tell the honest and a personal stories that make you blush, like I said earlier. So if you're blushing reading your book, that is the honest personal stories that you can give it to someone else. And I never worried about what other people think about my writing because I get a lot of feedback, good or negative. Doesn't matter. How do you think that the results gonna come out? That's how you had to think about. That is what I wanted to give as advice to other authors. Do what you love what you do.
And absolutely, I totally agree there. And it's the most important thing that is to be honest with what you are writing and what you are sharing. If you're honest with your own writing, with sharing your life story, then it is definitely going to create positive impact in people's lives. That I totally agree with you. So tell me, Jay, what has been your most important lessons that you might have learned through the years of writing? I'm sure you have been reading a lot, writing a lot. So tell me, what have been your most important lessons that you might have had?
Absolutely. Writing a writer's blog or book is like often a result of too much output, not enough input, right? And it's taken me many evenings or sitting in front of the blank pages, trying to desperately to glue together ideas. But what I realized that new ideas come from any new material, and I needed to be inspired by what inspires me, right? So that's the main thing. Like I needed to be inspired. I may spend my time writing about the self-love or spirituality or inspiring and a peace of mind, but I don't draw inspiration from that sort of literature. And I am most turned by the influencing the men and the women and to take the next step, but holding the real human being. What is the real human stories behind it? So if you
Right.
wanted to inspire people, find what makes you come alive and access it frequently. That's what I think. And it's the ownership of inspiration, right? Will spill into the heart. It's come need to come from the heart. So that's the main thing that sometimes we forget that we are strong, right? We are powerful and we are amazing sometimes. We forget that. But we can do anything we want and and we need to know we're worth it. That's the every bit of it. And so that's
Absolutely.
something that most important lesson that I learned is as an author, I need to know that I'm worth it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree. It's like until and unless you believe in yourself, nobody else is going to believe in you. Until and unless you love yourself first, nobody else is going to love you or approve you for who you are. So self-love is definitely the most important thing for anybody. And being woman, I know how important it is for us, right? So
Yeah.
tell me, Jay, what has been some of your strategies that you would have followed, that you followed to become an Amazon bestseller? So we would love to know more about your journey and the strategies that you might have used to become, to reach where you have reached.
Admittedly, like a marketing Amazon book is not really easy, but other than writing the actual book myself, right? This will probably will be the like next hardest part, the marketing part, right? And what I did was like post published author, like I post myself as a published author in social media, like a Facebook, and then my blog page, and then LinkedIn and Instagram, right? And I leave a link back to my book so people can grab it or purchase it. And I purchased my own book. This sounds like a little lame, but it's actually pretty important. If you purchase yourself, right, you can actually make sure look okay on all of your Kindle reading devices. And or if you're reading it, your actual book, and it's registered as a sale in Amazon. And then it's begin your boost in the seller ranking, right? I know I was actually gifting the book to several people and asked them if they would leave reviews, and you had to pay to give to it people, but it's actually receive your loyalty back, right? So those are the things that I was doing to networking with everybody and getting the ranking up. And mailing list, I had a mailing list, so I was just letting them know that my book is coming and I have a blog and write like a blog post about the book and telling the friends and the families about the book and ask them to purchase it and leave the review kind of thing. That is kind of my marketing strategies, I can say.
Yeah, I mean, I totally feel what you are saying here. It's so important in today's world to tell people to do what needs to be done. Like, it's like if you want to be modest about, I'll just post about my book and not ask them to buy it and not leave the link. I mean, nobody is going to do that. So that's, I totally agree that it's very important. And I see your post everywhere that whenever you talk about, like, you share something, you always leave link to your book, and that has given you the success that you
Yeah,
always wanted, right? So
absolutely. Yeah. You have to
definitely.
let the world know, right? Otherwise, they would know
Exactly.
that you done something. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's how the strategy started. So I will continue to do that.
Absolutely. And that's an amazing thing. I mean, you can keep doing it and keep growing. And every time we do something, we are growing
Yeah.
more. We are going little bit, and we are little bit further than where we were yesterday, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so you are working full time. So how did you manage your schedule or your time to write? I want to ask this specifically because you know what? Whenever I talk to my authors and like aspiring authors,
Yeah.
they are all, we are working full time. We are so busy. How do we manage time? Like guys, I'm telling you, Jay is full time working. She is leading. She is in a leadership position already, and she finished her manuscript in 5 weeks. So,
Yeah.
Jay, I would love to know how did you manage your time?
Absolutely. Working full time and then managing scheduled time to write is very hard. And for me, that was my passion to write the book. So writing is something give me that peacefulness. When I'm so busy, stressed out, it's a stressful job I'm in right now, and just sitting in front of the computer and then I start thinking, what am I writing? And getting into that mode, and then that's my mindfulness. That's my meditation, right? So that is my time. So that's my time. That's my flex time. That's what I say all the time. So I did manage to get the manuscript done in 5 weeks because I put my mind into it. And I had that eager, the courage to do, thinking about it, saying that, okay, I had to do it. This is my passion. This is important to me. I prioritize the time. That's the main important thing. The prioritizing what's most important to them, right?
Correct. So, did you manage, did you place some time specifically to your writing per day, like 1 hour or like few hours a week, or how did you manage the time to write only?
Absolutely. And when I met you, actually, you gave me that the modules that about that how you schedule your time. So I was scheduling by monthly, by weekly, by day, and then I put a time for myself to start writing. So you introduced me that, right?
Yeah, the goal setting
The time.
principles.
Yes, yes. Goal setting
Correct.
principles, yes. So that's how I got into the mode. And then I needed to finish this. This is my time. I give the deadline to myself. So when you have a deadline, I always come through that deadline.
Correct. That's amazing. Actually, that's true. It's very important to sometimes break down your long-term goal into short-term chunks because it's very easy to adhere to small goals rather than
Yeah,
thinking about just bigger goals. So thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for mentioning that it helped, and
yeah.
I'm glad to know that. So Jay, tell me, as you have been working on your book and now your book has gained the popularity and you have now portrayed yourself in an authoritative position and people look at you as an inspiration. Tell me how this all things, how your book has helped you grow in your business as well.
So becoming an author helped me in my business is to narrow down my goals and set aside in achievement, them reflected in my business and a profession and as an entrepreneur. So I get a lot of asking to speak in their companies and like a speaking engagement in different clubs and to making my audience have to like they recognize me already and in my ability, so I am giving them the leadership like speeches about the book and then how did I do it, like as an immigrant young girl, and then how did I overcome all of the obstacles, and they like to listen to those things, and then they wanted to help someone else in, and then I wanted to be that professional person and to speak on their behalf of their companies like a spokeswoman, and that is something that happening with me right now. Actually this was only possible that after I became an author, and it's helped me to regain and then my business as a professional entrepreneur.
Absolutely. So now you get engagement, you get to speak, and people come to you, talk to you, take your advice seriously, and that is how you are growing. I mean, that's the best fulfilling thing that any author can achieve through their book. I totally agree. So, Jay, picture this. I mean, imagine you feel uninspired and you have sat in front of your computer for an hour without conquering any words, without writing anything. So tell me, how did you get your creativity flowing and getting out of that, writer's block at that point of time when like this kind of scenario would have happened? I'm sure you have, when you were writing your book, uh, you might have had experienced this as well. So how did you come out of that writer's block?
That's a great question, actually. And I always had my hobbies, and then not just writing. I listen to music, right? And I work out, and then I do different things in the life. So I enjoy having that flexibility, even though as a writer, so you are right in front of the camera, right in front of the computer, and then you have to have your own my time, and then that will help you, right? And then sometimes it's a meditation, and or it is that you want to go for a walk, or is take a time for your own self. That is how you have your memories, like and what you can do when you have a time, kind of thing. So it's knowing what to stop and then when to start, right?
Right. So whenever you had your writer's block, so you summoned yourself to music. So is that correct?
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely. The music is, if you don't have music, then that is that like we don't have a like world going on, right? That is your mind is like getting to in a different mode, right?
Correct. So it's just like you have to find your anchor. It could be music, it could be
Yeah,
exercise, it could be anything that will get you going. So that will help you get out of that block and
yeah,
help your creativity flowing, correct?
absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So, tell me, Jay, what has been the hardest part of writing your author bio, your memoir, and because your book is a leadership memoir, I know.
Yeah.
What has been the hardest part of writing while you were writing?
I think I mentioned before, writing my memo about me, that stories and what happened to myself, and was a long, hard journey. Right? It was emotional, and I thought I knock out like quickly, but I like understanding. I was underestimated just how hard it is to write a book and how hard it is for me to write about me in a way that did me like a justice, like an honest way. Like, it just took a long time to think about it. I think it is easier to write a novel or different leadership book about a subject, how to be a leader kind of thing, but writing a memoir and about you is very emotional, right? And I was like, it was many years of focus and had always been sufficient writing skills that I had, but talent to come up with a readable book. That's the most important thing. I think you took me that direction. You show me that direction. And I had a unique perspective, right? And I had a story I very much wanted to tell. Yes, it took me like 2 years to finish it up, but it came out beautifully. But I need to have a help. So my husband and my boys helped me to get through. And one of my son was always read every chapter, and then he gave me the feedback, and then they don't want me to give up. So that was something that had my back always, is that they were pushing me, right? And that is something that everybody should have, somebody to push you to write that memoir. So that's what I think.
Yeah, because visiting those hard times sometimes can be very draining because it's like reliving your past, which you don't want to go. But like sometimes you have to visit because it's like it's sharing the honesty. But yeah, but that's definitely, I totally agree. And I am sure that it's going to help our listeners about the reality. People, when it comes to writing, people think like, hey, I am a writer, I have written blogs and I have written
Yeah.
articles, it's like going to be super easy to write books. So that is another question I want to ask you. You have been writing blogs and articles for years. I mean, you have amazing following on social
Yeah.
media. So tell me, how has been your experience in terms of when you really because you had been in the writing world.
Yeah.
Writing was not your problem, but writing a book, how has it been, like a journey or an eye opener, or what has been your take when it comes to writing a book and writing just a blog or an article?
I can advise, like I can let you know that understanding the principle of like a compounding and the power of consistency, right? I can say I was a failure once, and I accept that. I really do, right? And it's painful. The main reason why I end up in that position is because of my inability to be consistent, right? With the action, sometimes the choices we make, right? And understanding and applying when you start your journey. And then I put it in a three kind of categories. So things that aren't in your complete control, right? You have to have a three different things that going into it. Things are in your partial control, and things are in your complete control. So I understood that. So that what happened to me. So that is how I realized that I have the power over my mind, not any outsiders or any outside events. And realizing this, and I kept writing, right? And I was fulfilled. And then I find that strength to keep writing. I don't want to look back. I want to go moving forward. And how am I keep moving and never give up on that thought of writing, even though so many negative feedback or positive feedback I got. How I balance that, right? And then I never give up. That's the one of the things that I have. Keep,
Perfect.
yeah.
So tell me, Jay, throughout your journey, I'm sure it has been an amazing journey for you, and you had many ups and downs. But I really want to know what has been the best funny memories, like as you go through the publishing journey. Like you joined us in February or January, and what has been your funny memories, best memories that you might have during your publishing journey?
I think I'll go with the best memories. So the best memories are that when I was writing my book, the chapters, and every chapter, that the people, right? So people who were been with me in my journey, and I got to write about them. And some things that I wrote was very emotional, and it just came out of from my heart, right? And I didn't make up any of those things. They just who they are, the people out there, and then who came with my journey. So to write about them was the best memories that throughout that my book. Like I had so many of them there by the names, but they were all there for me. And I didn't feel there was someone always lift me up, and then I didn't fall down somewhere down the road that somebody lift me up, right? So that is one of the best things that throughout when I was writing my journey. And the funny memories are like, oh my God, it's going back and forth and a back and forth. And then when you keep reading, finishing the chapter and go back and reading, it doesn't make any sense, right? I was laughing of some things that I wrote. And then you go back and then rewriting. And then same thing happened. Oh my God, it just doesn't make any sense, right? So you go back and then write. So those are the funny memories. And then sometimes my friends are saying, oh my God, who's going to buy your book? Why are you spending so much time writing it? And who's going to buy your book? That kind of things that come to my mind today. And then I think it's funny. Like, people think like that, right?
Yeah, they try to drag you down. They try to bring you down and tell you that you. I remember you telling me that who is going to buy your book, who is going to read your book. You can't even speak the language properly. It's not your first language. And
Yeah.
see, today you are a bestseller, and like you, where you are, they probably cannot even dream to be there. So I think that is the best answer anyone can give in terms of, and I'm sure you cherish those memories as well, right? That, yeah,
Yeah.
you told that, and now see where I am and where you are.
And honestly, Susmita, the people who said that I couldn't do it, now I did it, they're not even around. So that's the funny part of it, right? So that is something that I acknowledge, that there are people who around you support you. They will always be there, right? You just have to believe in yourself. That's what I think.
Thank you so much, Jay. I mean, it was amazing talking to you, knowing about your journey. And I'm sure our followers, our people who are listening this, hearing from Jay, have already benefited. And wherever you are in your journey, in writing journey, in publishing your book, listen to her stories. She is just like you and me, and she had a dream, and today she has managed to fulfill her dream, take her to the next level. She's changing lives, and I'm sure you got a lot of learning today. Take notes. I know she shared a lot of things. And thank you so much, Jay, for coming in today. And I know you are very busy, but thank you so much for agreeing to come online. And you are our star author. I mean, we love you. We love you. And thank you for gracing us with your presence, with your positivity, and with your power woman personality. And I love talking to you. I love having you here every day, every time. We celebrate you, Jay.
Thank you so much for having me. I wanted to leave a last quote, say, do what you love what you do. You're never going to fail that.
Thanks everyone for watching this today, and I will see you with yet another amazing session very soon. And until then, my name is Sushmita. Thank you so much for visiting